Hi everyone, today we're going to be making baked ziti with Bolognese sauce from Magnolia Cookbook volume number 3 as part of my journey to go through all of her recipes in her cookbooks. So we're starting off today with the baked ziti with Bolognese sauce. I can say that I've made this multiple times for the fam. They love it, they're obsessed with it. So let's get this going, shall we? So in this recipe, it calls for pancetta, for ground beef, some onion and garlic, and some white wine, and some heavy cream, some parsley, some grated Parmesan cheese, some tomato paste. And we're going to cook a lot of those ingredients on the stove for about 30 minutes before we compile all of our ingredients, including the macaroni, and bake that in the oven for a little bit. And of course, who doesn't love fresh cheese mixed into this yumminess? And that's what we're going to do. So thanks, let's do this. Okay, so let's get all of our ingredients into the stock pot. That way we can make a nice little sauce that goes with our macaroni. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and put our noodles on. I'm going to heavily salt the water. And once this gets to a boil, we'll go ahead and throw in our penne. It is baked ziti, but I didn't have any ziti, so we're going with penne, which is fine. So in the stock pot, we're going to go ahead and put this on medium-low heat. My burner's very hot, so I'm going to put it on a little bit lower. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, along with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're going to let this melt, and then once it's melted, we're going to go ahead and add in our onions. Now that the butter has been melted, I'm going to go ahead and throw in our onion, and we're going to leave this in for 5 minutes to get softened before we go ahead and put our garlic in here. So let's put the onion here, stir it around a little bit. And leave that for 5 minutes. Okay, so now that our onions are ready to go, it's been a couple minutes, they're starting to soften up. I'm going to go ahead and add in 2 teaspoons of garlic. We're going to leave that in there for about 30 seconds to a minute just to get that fragrance and mix it in. Let's leave it in there. I already smell the garlic, it's getting there. Okay, now that it's been a minute, I'm going to go ahead and throw in our pancetta. It's diced up. I buy it pre-diced, so I don't have to worry about cutting it. So, you're going to add that in here, mix it together, and we're going to leave this on the stove for about 2 minutes before we add in our ground beef. Okay, so while our pancetta is still going, I'm going to go ahead and add in our pasta. This says 12 to 14 minutes, so I'm going to put it at 12, and let's put the timer on. I'm going to give it 1 quick stir. Ready to go? Okay, so it looks like our pancetta is getting a little brown, so I'm going to go ahead and add in our 1 pound of ground beef. So this is Kobe beef. It was on sale, so that's why I bought it. So we're going to go ahead and chop this up into little pieces. And once we do that, we're going to leave this on the stove for about 5 minutes to get brown. Let this cook for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to come back in and break it up some even more. So let's hang tight. Okay, now that it's cooked down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and scrape the bottom here and continue to break down that meat into bite-sized pieces, little crumbles, I should say. And we're getting there. Okay, so it looks like our ground beef is all ready for us to add in 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. And I'm going to lower this heat just a little bit, and I'm going to add in 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. Okay. I'm going to give this a stir to coat the beef. We're going to let this sit for 2 minutes before we put in the rest of our ingredients. Give this a quick stir. We've got 2 minutes left. So our penne is done, so I'm going to go ahead and drain this. Okay, it is officially ready for the rest of the ingredients. So it is 1 cup of white wine, 1 cup of chicken broth, or chicken stock. Right now I have chicken broth, so we'll go with that. A teaspoon of garlic powder. Just use the rest of that. A teaspoon of kosher salt and a teaspoon of black pepper and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. A nice addition to the flavors. We're going to stir this together and we're going to let this sit for 30 minutes. One thing I forgot to add in here was 1 bay leaf, so I'm going to go ahead and add that bay leaf. Okay, this has now been simmering for about 30 minutes, so I'm going to give it a quick stir. And I'm going to add in about 1 cup of the reserved pasta water from our macaroni. And now that that's been added, we leave this on simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to leave this partially covered. Set my timer to not 40 minutes. We want the timer for 30 minutes. Oh, I am just messing this up. No. Okay, there we go. 30 minutes. We'll be back in 30 minutes, stirring occasionally. See you soon. Okay, so now that it's been 30 minutes since we put in our drained pasta water, we're going to go ahead and add 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan, 2 cups of heavy cream, and some parsley. She has about 1 tablespoon, so I'm just going to just eyeball it. And I'm going to stir this around. And this will stay on the stove for about 5 minutes. So we're going to let this simmer for a little bit. We're going to come back and get it ready for our oven. Okay, so now that it's been a couple minutes since we've added in the cream, the parsley, and the Parmesan cheese, I'm going to take this over and we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients to pop it in the oven. Okay. All right, so here is our baked ziti. I'm going to go ahead and add this in here. Yes, I am using my hands, but it's okay. They're clean. And it's getting baked. And we're going to add in 1 cup of our Parmesan cheese and some of the Parma cheese as well. And we're going to stir this together with our spoon. And I've already prepared a baking sheet or a baking casserole for this stuff. However, I made it a little smaller because I'm going to freeze some of this. That way we can have this throughout the week. So once it's fully stirred together, I am going to put some of this in our sheet that's been a little prepared with some Pam. I'm going to add some of the Parmesan cheese on top. I'm sorry, the mozzarella on top. And a little bit more Parmesan cheese and some parsley. Now we're going to throw this in the oven for 20 minutes on 375. Stay tuned. Okay, so now that it's been in the oven for 20 minutes, I'm going to take it out and try it out. Our cheese is melted. It looks perfect. Look at that. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, so I cut up some basil and I'm just going to add some of this to the top and a little bit more Parm cheese. And we're ready to serve. All right, so now that it's cooled down a little bit, let's check it out and see how it tastes. Although I know this tastes amazing just because of all the amazing feedback I've heard from the family. So let's try it out. Perfect. Delicious. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Catch you next time. Thank you so much. See ya.